Maya's hands trembled as she held the envelope. Inside was the scholarship letter, the one her daughter Priya had been waiting for. Full tuition to the university she'd dreamed about since childhood. The envelope sat on the break room table while Maya's mind raced. 3 years of financial freedom. No more choosing between overtime shifts and being present. No more sleepless nights calculating college costs. But her boss's words still hung in the air. Before you accept this, I need to tell you something. For 7 years, Maya had worked 2 jobs. By day, she was a junior project coordinator at Horizon Tech Solutions, a mid-sized software company where she'd climbed from administrative assistant to her current position. By night and weekends, she cleaned offices across the city, work that paid the bills but left her exhausted and hollow. Priya, now 18, had grown up watching her mother's sacrifice. Every college acceptance letter felt like a small victory, tainted by the knowledge of what it would cost. Horizon Tech had given her flexible hours when Priya was younger, but structure never replaced presence. Maya had missed school plays and soccer games. She'd attended parent-teacher conferences looking disheveled from her night shift. Yet she'd never complained to her boss, Marcus, a kind man in his 50s who built the company from nothing. 2 weeks ago, Marcus had asked to meet with her privately. He'd been quiet, studying her face in a way that made Maya nervous. In her experience, such meetings meant layoffs or increased workload. "I've been watching you," he'd said, and Maya's stomach had dropped. But then he'd smiled. "For 7 years, I've watched you come in here and do excellent work, despite everything you're carrying. Do you know that?" She hadn't known what to say. Marcus had pulled out a folder. Inside were performance reviews, project reports, emails from colleagues praising her work. He'd traced his finger down a timeline. "When you came here, you were frightened, remember? You thought you weren't qualified. But look what you've built. You took that mess of a filing system and transformed it. You reorganized our entire client onboarding process. The efficiency gains saved this company $40,000 last year." Maya had stared at the numbers, barely recognizing herself in the data. "And you never complain?" Marcus continued. "You never ask for raises or special treatment. You just show up and do the work. That's rare." He'd then explained something that confused her. Horizon Tech had just expanded. They were creating a new position, community engagement director. More responsibility, but also more pay. Health benefits that included tuition reimbursement. And here was the part that made her cry later, alone in her car. Flexible scheduling specifically designed for working parents. But Marcus had asked for time. He wanted to do something first, something he needed to verify. That evening, Maya had gone through old photo albums with Priya. In one picture from 4 years ago, Priya sat on the curb outside the office building, waiting for her mother's shift to end. She was 8 in the photo, her backpack beside her, her smile tired. It had always made Maya's chest ache. "Do you remember this?" Priya had asked, pointing at the image. "How could I forget?" Maya had whispered. "I used to imagine what your office looked like inside," Priya said. "I thought everyone there must be mean since you worked so hard. But then one day, Mr. Marcus came out and sat with me. I don't remember what we talked about, but I remember thinking he was nice. He asked about school and my drawings. He stayed for like 20 minutes even though he was busy." Maya had frozen. She'd never known this. At the meeting 2 weeks later, Marcus had revealed everything. After their conversation, he'd investigated Priya's school performance and contacted her teachers. He'd checked the colleges she'd applied to. Then, without telling Maya, he'd done something extraordinary. He'd started a small employee education fund through Horizon Tech specifically for the children of long-term staff members. Priya's scholarship, Marcus had explained, doesn't come from an external foundation. It comes from us, from this company. It's been approved by our board, fully funded, and non-contingent on anything except her maintaining a 3.0 GPA. Maya had cried so hard she couldn't breathe. But there's more, Marcus had continued gently. I want you to take the new position. I won't lie, it's demanding work. But it's also meaningful. And it comes with something else, a benefit we've never offered before, paid sabbaticals. You'll get 2 weeks every year where you don't work your night job. You don't work anything. You just be a mother. Why? Maya had asked through tears. Why would you do all this? Marcus had leaned back in his chair. Because I almost lost my daughter to the same grind, he'd said quietly. I was building this company and missing her childhood. By the time I slowed down, she was 18 and we barely knew each other. We fixed it. We have a good relationship now, but I lost something I can never get back. He paused, looking directly at Maya. I'm not going to let that happen to you. Not on my watch. Not if I can help it. Now, holding the envelope in the break room, Maya understood. The scholarship wasn't a magical solution to poverty or a erasure of the years she'd sacrificed. It was something deeper. It was recognition. It was someone with power saying, I see you. Your work matters. You matter. Your daughter matters. She opened the letter again, reading Priya's name in the formal text. Then she pulled out her phone and texted her boss. I accept the position. Thank you. For everything. 3 dots appeared immediately. Welcome to what comes next. That evening, when Priya came home from her shift at the coffee shop, Maya told her the news. First about the scholarship. Priya screamed and danced around the kitchen. But then Maya told her about the new job, about the sabbaticals, about what her own boss had done and why. Priya's eyes filled with tears. So, you'll actually be here? She asked, her voice small in a way it hadn't been since she was small. I'll actually be here, Maya confirmed. Later that night, looking at old photos together, Maya finally exhaled. The weight she'd carried for 7 years, the guilt of divided attention, the anxiety of impossible choices, the resignation to exhaustion shifted something fundamental in her chest. It wasn't gone. The years of struggle had changed her, but they didn't have to define what came next. She'd learned this through working 2 jobs. That change comes not from magic, but from the accumulation of effort and the kindness of people who notice that effort. From leaders who understand that people aren't just workers, they're humans with hearts that need tending. As Priya fell asleep on her shoulder, Maya smiled at the envelope on the coffee table. Sometimes, she thought, the future looks like someone finally seeing you, and that changes everything.